Hi everybody and welcome to week 9 of lockdown 3. I hope you're all still well. So did you all have a good week last week? Thank you again for all your feedback. It is invaluable for me to hear from you, especially with the new exercises we've been doing. So thanks to all of you that have taken the time to just message me and let me know how you got on. So we're going to be up for Zoom again this week. Please let me know if you want to join me morning or evening, and if you haven't done any Zoom with me yet, then just give it a go. It's really good. It's an opportunity for me to check up on you as you're working, and it's the closest that we'll get to actually being in class at the moment. So give it a go if you haven't already, just see how you get on. So from the map that Boris Johnson has set out on restrictions and the lifting of restrictions, we will be able to hopefully start. So it's indoor adult exercise classes should be allowed to start. It says not earlier than the 17th of May. So that's a Monday the 17th of May, which means that's 11 weeks or so away. So I was kind of hoping it would be earlier, but of course, you know, we all need to be safe, and it does need to be done progressively, and I understand that. And I think the setup that we've got here with YouTube and Zoom works really quite well. So I think it is keeping most of you going. So I'm counting down the weeks basically now. So hopefully it won't be too long before we're back in class, and you know, we'll just have to see how it goes. So anyway, please make sure you've got all your equipment ready. Today we are actually going to be using every piece of equipment you've got, including a chair, so please get a chair out today. So we will be using the squashy ball, we'll be using the high resistance band, the low resistance band for shoulders, and I do have a couple of those bands left. If anybody wants them, please let me know. I've got a couple left and you're very welcome to have them, but just let me know. And we'll be using your loopy band as well for Sideline Oyster. Head support in the form of foamy block if you need it, and your blue solid block if you need that for some height when we roll down. So I think that's all I need to say. So have a great week, and I hope I see some of you at least on Zoom this week, and please just carry on letting me know how you're getting on. So I shall see you on your mat. Hi everybody and welcome to your general level Pilates class. Please make sure you've got all your equipment ready, and you will need a chair as well today. So we'll get started standing tall, your legs and your feet hip distance, hip sockets down to your feet, and you're just checking there that your toes are pointing forward. So just have a look down and check that your feet aren't turning out to the side. So your toes are forward, your hips are in the right place, relaxing your shoulders. We'll start with focus on breath, just closing your eyes to help you focus. We're taking a deep breath in through your nose, blowing out through your mouth. And again, deep breath in through your nose, blowing out through your mouth. So continuing with your breath, and as you're breathing, we're now engaging into the deep lying abdominals. Starting the contraction through your pelvic floor, we're taking a breath in. So you breathe out, so drawing up on your pelvic floor, bringing your connection then up into the deep lying abdominals, feeling you're engaging into that whole corset of muscle wrapping around you, and those muscles connecting directly into your spine. So maintain that hold, we're staying with your breath, ready then to check through your posture. We're starting with your head and your neck. Always feeling your way into your neck posture. So you need to feel for that stretch at the back of your neck. You're feeling for the lengthening up from your crown. Your chin needs to be parallel with the floor, and invariably your chin needs to be lower than you think it needs to be. We're now gently lifting your shoulders up towards your ears. We're then rolling your shoulders back. We're sliding your shoulder blades down your back and holding them there. So checking out, can you really feel that connection into your mid-back? We're moving away from rounded shoulder posture. Making sure now that you've got your ribs drawing down towards your hips, so make sure you don't allow the ribs to flare out. Ribs are always drawing down, and then just check for where your hands are. Little fingers running down the seams of your trousers, and you know then that your shoulders are in the right place. We're now checking on the curve of your lower back. We're settling into your neutral spine. We're taking a tilt of your pelvis forward. We're then tilting back, and from there we're settling into the centre. Remembering, if your tendency is to arch your lower back, you will need to exaggerate your tuck under. We're now working down to your legs. Remember to take that softness through the knees. So checking out, are you locking out your knees? If you are, you're locking out your lower back as well. So always keeping that softness through the knees. You're working down to your feet and checking there, is your body weight equal into both legs and feet? So really feel your weight now underneath your feet. Are you equally balanced? We'll take your gentle sway from side to side. So just feel your weight shifting from one foot to the other. We're slowly then coming to settle back into the centre. And once you're there, again, just check your weight into your feet. Are you equally balanced? We're going back to the hook attached to your crown. So imagine you're being pulled and pulled and pulled up by the hook. You're just feeling yourself getting taller and taller. And remembering, you can't get too tall. You're constantly working on lengthening out your spine. So maintain that posture, just focusing back now on your Pilates breathing. You engage into your deep lying abdominals, and we'll take some movement through the shoulders. So on your next breath in, bring your shoulders up towards your ears. Blowing out, rolling your shoulders, shoulder blades down your back, and continuing with your movement. So working here now at your own pace, working with your breath, gradually increasing that range as you go. So making your movements a bit wider each time. Raining eventually to take both arms up over your head and to continue round from there. And feel that you are really stretching right up to your arms, your hands, your fingers, your fingertips, keeping that stretch, that reach going all the way through. So really try and take the movements as tall and as wide as you can, as wide a range of movements as you can get through your shoulders. When you're ready to, now we'll move this into balance. So opening your eyes, fixing your gaze. It's a bend through the knees. So breathe in and sweeping the arms up, gently lifting the heels. Breathe out, drawing the shoulders back, taking the heels down. So we'll stay here to take a few more. So really just focus on what's happening through your feet. Try and stabilise through the big toes. Try not to roll onto the outside of your feet. So remembering this is correct movement pattern for your feet as well. And the next time you're walking, make sure you are tracking that straight line from your big toe to your heel. So obviously challenging your balance here as well. I'm going to make this your last one. So back to your start position, just shake it all out, ankles and the feet to shake. Back to your chest stretch, arms behind you, back into space the fingers. Keep the shoulders where they are, releasing your arms. Ready now to move on to your neck. I'm just going to come closer to you. So we're coming into nods. So when you're ready, it's your breath in. So you breathe out, so nodding the chin down towards your chest. Hold in to breathe in. 2 movements down in 1. As you breathe out, you need to push into the back of your neck with the pull up from the crown. So we're going to stay here to take a few of these movements, working at your own pace. So remember, this is the push back with the pull up. So make sure you don't just push back. And what we're aiming to do is to stack those vertebrae directly one over the next, whilst creating some space between those vertebrae. We'll make this next one now your last one. So slowly back up, shoulders relaxed. Taking your stretch now down the side of your neck, so left ankle's onto your right shoulder. Make sure you don't move through your waist, so engage your core, taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, just ease that right shoulder away. Right ear goes up towards the ceiling, take it nice and gently Keep easing that right shoulder away. Breathing, you're coming to centre. Releasing your arm, changing over. So just easing that left shoulder away. Breathing back to centre. We'll do one more to each side. So it is really helpful, I think, to place your hand onto the shoulder to just make sure it doesn't lift, because if you don't place your hand, you can quite easily be bringing the shoulder along with the neck without even realising. So it just gives you some feedback really as to what's happening. And your last one, slowly back to centre, releasing your arm, rolling your shoulders round. Going back to your chest stretch, then arms behind you, back interlacing your fingers. Keep the shoulders where they are, releasing your hands. And we're going to move on now to your roll down. And if you haven't done your flat back today, please pause me now, go and do your flat back. It's a really important movement for stretching out the spine, and particularly important for you if your back isn't ready to do the roll down. So if your back isn't ready to do the roll down, but it is ready to do the flat back, then please just go and do the flat back. You need to open out and stretch out your spine in some way. So when you're ready to, we'll go into the roll down. So it's full pelvic tilt. Scoop your arms to your spine, taking a breath in. So you breathe out, we're nodding the chin. So rolling your head down the front of your body, making sure you don't lean forward. Arms in your head just hanging, just dripping down to the floor. So going down to your furthest point. We're holding here now to breathe in. Really hard work on your abdominals. So you breathe out, you need to push your hips forward, you're pushing your knees forward. And slowly, slowly uncurling your spine. Make sure you get all of your abdominals. It's lower, it's mid, it's upper abdominals. Shoulders, your neck, your head back up to standing. The same thing again, so from the base of your spine, pulling the tail forward, nodding the chin, slowly rolling down. So try and stay close into yourself, and remembering every time you move your back, the work should be coming from your abdominals. Your spine should always just be coming along. We're going to make this one now your last one. So this time we're rolling down, we're just staying here. We're just hanging the spine. So once you're there, gentle turn your head now side to side. So checking that your neck is relaxed. And then allowing your head to just hang down to the floor. So the weight of the head drawing down the spine. And really good for your spine to just hang. So we're going to stay here now for a few more breaths. If you need to bring your blue block over for some height, please do that. And if you're ready, we'll move this into a gentle sway. So we're forward now into your toes, back into your heels, just gently there forwards and back. So really nice posture this one for the spine. So if it doesn't feel particularly comfortable for you, and you're not resting your hands onto your block, you might want to try bringing over your block. If your hands aren't touching the floor, you really do need to use your block for some height. So make this one your last one. Back to your start position. Just check your waist into your feet. We're going to walk your hands forward now to your mat. These go down one at a time into all fours position. So I'm going to adjust you here so you can see me better. So if you are joining me for Zoom, just think about your camera angle and what I can see of you. And of course, feel free to adjust the placement of your camera as we go, because invariably we start off standing and then we'll come down to the floor, and if you don't move your camera, then when you get down to the floor, then I can't see you, or I can't see very much of you. And what's working out really, really well for a lot of you is placing your cameras sideways onto you. So you basically get, you get this, I get this look of you, which is ideal, really, really good. So just something to think about really for the Zoom sessions. So we're going to go into downward dog now. So wrists on the shoulders, your knees under your hips. So this week I incorporated downward dog to plank off a chair or off the edge of your sofa, and the feedback has been, it's been really quite varied actually. So some of you really liked it and felt that it took some weight out of your wrists, and others you felt that you really didn't get as much benefit. doing it off a chair as you do off the floor. I think one of my girls said she just didn't feel quite right. I wasn't sure whether she has it right doing it off the chair. So it's whatever works for you. I'm really just trying to just bring in a little bit of variety really to the sessions. So by all means, if you wanted to do this now off a chair, then please go ahead and do that. Obviously when we get back to class there won't be that option. We'll have to be on the floor, but whilst you're at home and it's working out well for you, then why not? So wrists under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. So draw your shoulders away from your ears. Draw your shoulder blades down, your back, we're drawing up on pelvic floor. So ready for downward dog. Breathe in, we're tucking the toes under. So you breathe out, or pushing up with the hips, so just hanging down to the floor. Then taking your feet up a bit further back. We're now bringing a real deep bend into your knees. So draw your knees towards your chest, or draw your chest towards your knees. And with your knees very bent, your challenge here is to see how high you can push your hips up towards the ceiling. So one of my guys did say that he felt he got a better lumbar stretch, i.e. this part of the movement, when he did it off the chair. So if you haven't tried it off the chair, maybe give it a try. So it's in the mini session for last week. Ready to move on, so breathing up to toes and take your feet a few inches further back. Ready now for your foot pedals, head just hanging to the floor, take a breath in. So you breathe out, we're taking a bend through the right knee as you bring your left heel down towards the floor. Breathe in, go up to toes, breathe out to change. So starting this pattern, moving through the ankles and the feet, working at your own pace, and your line of vision is midway between your feet. So check that your head is just hanging to the floor, and this gives you a really good stretch on the calves, and we do generally tend to be tight into the calves, so it is important that we're getting a regular stretch into this area. We'll make this on your last one, finishing off the bend through the left knee. So you come up to your toes, so taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, without lowering your heels, you're easing your hips up towards the ceiling. Breath in, as you breathe out, taking the heels down. And again, breathe in up to toes, heels are lifted. Breathe out, easing the hips up. Breath in, breathe out, taking the heels down. Got one more. So really good stretch for your body. Ready to release, so breathing up to toes, draw upper pelvic floor. So you breathe out, let's weight forward over the arms, bending the knees. Slowly lowering down, well done. Once you're there, resting, so right back onto your heels. Stretching your arms out and releasing your wrists then, your palms up, your palms down. So just taking some time now for you to do whatever you feel you need to do to release your hands, your wrists, your fingers after that last movement. So you might feel that you want to rotate your wrists, you might want to massage your hands, massage your wrists. Whatever you feel you need to do, then please just do that. And then when you're ready, bring your palms back to the mat. Ready then to release your shoulders. You might prefer some support underneath your forehead. Bring the arms around, your fingers touching the heels. And when you're ready then, just allow your arms to relax to your sides with your palms up. A stretch over the wrists, a breath in. As you breathe out, kind of palms up towards your head. Breathe in to release. And again, breathe out, kind of palms up. Breathe in to release. We're staying here to take two more. Really good stretch for your wrists. That's your last one, relaxing your hands, relaxing your wrists. We're going straight now into chest stretch. So arms behind your back, interlacing the fingers. Rolling right up onto the top of your head, stretching your arms up. That's your last one, releasing your arms, bring the arms around, so pushing back up to all fours. So we'll take some time now to really focus on your spine. So check your setup, wrists under shoulders, your knees under your hips. Feel for the placement of your neck, and it is important that you get this right. So your line of vision should be midway between your hands. Check that your head isn't just hanging to the floor. Feel that you've got the lengthening up to the crown. So draw your shoulder blades down your back. We're going to start off with your lumbar movements. It's really small and it's the lower abdominals doing the work. So please don't move into your mid back just yet. So when you're ready, your breath in to prepare. So you breathe out using your lower abdominals, just pulling your tail forwards. Breathe in to go back to your neutral spine. And again, breathe out, you're pulling the tail forward. Breathe in to go back to neutral spine. So we're going to stay here to take a few of these movements. So make sure it is just your lumbar spine. And this part of the movement is particularly important for you if you know that you tend to be stiff into your lower back. So it's really important that you are taking some time to isolate those lumbar vertebrae. So once you're sure you've got your lumbar moving, up then into the full cat stretch. So when you're ready, breath in, as you breathe out, you pull the tail forward, you're drawing the head towards the tail. So drawing the two now closer and closer in towards each other. When you get to your furthest point, try and draw the head even closer to the tail, tail even closer to the head. Breath in, as you breathe out, you're sitting back towards your heels, stretching out your back. Breath in, as you breathe out, you're slowly back up, so keep that scooping in. Breath in, as you breathe out, you're lowering down, pushing through the tail. Head back inside the spine, shoulders relaxed, shoulder blades engaged. The same thing again. Breath in, as you breathe out, pulling the tail forward, drawing the head towards the tail. And again, drawing the two closer in towards each other. Breath in, as you breathe out, you're sitting back towards your heels, stretching out your back. Breath in, as you breathe out, you're slowly back up, so keeping that scooping in. Breath in, as you breathe out, lowering down, pushing through the tail. Head back inside the spine, shoulders relaxed, shoulder blades engaged. So we're staying here to take one more of this movement, working at your own pace. And it is a really good spine mobility exercise. It's a really good warm-up for the abdominals as well. So going back to your neutral spine. And from here now we're going to come up to standing to take some work on the shoulder girdle. So we're tucking the toes under, walking your hands to your knees, pushing up onto your toes, walking your hands to your toes, pushing down through the heels. Knees are bent, head just hanging to the floor. Check you've got that hip distance on the feet. So ready now to work hard with the abdominals. Breath in as you breathe out, push your hips forward, push your knees forward, slowly uncurling the spine. So coming up to standing, and I'm adjusting you again. Back up to standing, and we're going to take some work now through the shoulder girdle. So I introduced this movement a couple of weeks ago. So it's basically work for the shoulders, the lats, strength work. So we're going to use the pink band, and if you do find that this is too strong when you get into the movement, please just take the movement without the band. You will still get really good benefits from the movement doing it without the band. I wouldn't go for anything, any more resistance than pink, because it's just going to be too strong. So please be really, really careful. You wouldn't, for example, use the band that you would use for our leg strength work for your shoulders, at least not yet. So, going to use the pink band again. I've got a couple left if anybody wants a pink band. So I have dropped in quite a few now to you. So if you do want one, they are very low stocks, but I do still have a couple left. So please just let me know. So we're going to start off. Wrong exercise. I was going to put it under my foot, which is a different exercise we've been working on. So you are taking both ends of the band and wrapping each end of the band around each hand. And you want it to be fairly slack because we're going to pull it quite tight. And of course you can adjust the resistance of the band as you go. So if it's feeling, if it's not feeling that strong, then you could wrap it round your hands one more time to put some more resistance into the band. So let it just hang like so. So just feel for what's happening through the shoulders. Make sure you've got that space between your shoulders and your ears. And if you haven't done this one with me yet, please do it without the band. So of course you need to check through your posture. It's hip distance, or if you want to go a little bit wider, that's fine. We're nice and soft through the knees, tucking the tail under. So keep your shoulders down. Think all the way through the movements about drawing your shoulder blades down your back. So when you're ready, we're taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, you're just lifting your arms up to shoulder height or chest height. Breath in, and as you breathe out, you're taking the arms out wide. You're drawing that band across the middle of your chest. Breath in, as you breathe out, bring your arms forward. Take a breath in, make sure the shoulders are down. As you breathe out, the arms are going up. I'm just going to go a bit further back, so you're taking them up. And breath in, as you breathe out. If you can, we're going to take that band behind your head. Draw the band down as far as you can. Just maintain the posture. Breath in, as you breathe out, slowly come up, so push your arms up. Breath in, as you breathe out, bring the arms forward. Breath in, as you breathe out, take your arms out wide and take that back as far as you can. Breath in, as you breathe out, bring your arms forward. Breath in, as you breathe out, taking your arms up. Breath in, as you breathe out, draw the band behind your head, draw the shoulder blades in as closely as you can. Breath in, as you breathe out, slowly back up. Breath in, as you breathe out, bring your arms forward. Breath in, as you breathe out, take your arms out wide, draw the band across the middle of your chest. Breath in, as you breathe out, come back. Breath in, as you breathe out, slowly coming up. Obviously, if you've got shoulder injuries, then please, if anything hurts, then just don't do this. Breath in, as you breathe out, slowly back up. Breath in, as you breathe out, bring it forward. Breath in, breathe out, take it out wide. You're going to take one more. Breath in, as you breathe out, bring your arms forward. Breath in, as you breathe out, take them up over your head. Breath in, as you breathe out, draw the band behind your back, draw the shoulder blades in. Breath in, as you breathe out, slowly back up. Breath in, as you breathe out, arms forward. Breath in, as you breathe out, take your arms out wide. Breath in, breathe out forward, and then you're just relaxing down. Well done, well done. So just rolling the shoulders round. So just take some release. If you feel that you do need to take some stretch here, please go ahead and do that. We'll take a chest stretch when you're ready. Arms behind your back, interlace the fingers. Keep the shoulders where they are, releasing your hands. So we're going to move on now to another exercise in standing. So you will need your squashy ball for this, and we're going to target your inner thighs in standing. If you do prefer to do this exercise lying down, please go ahead, roll down and do this in lying down. So we did do it in lying down in last week's class, and thanks for everybody that fed back to me about that and the placing to the feet, the imprint to the spine and so on. Really, really helps me. So we're going to roll down and place the ball between your knees, or if you know that you would prefer to work with it higher and you actually do get stronger work into those inner thigh muscles with the ball a bit higher, please go ahead and do that. And you might even want to play around with that as you go. So we're going to come into Charlie Chaplin feet. It's heels together, toes out, and now turn your toes out as far as you can. You need to tuck your tail right under. You need to think tall, so you're lengthening up from your crown. And we're going to take this with chest stretch. So chest stretch really helps to maintain the posture of the shoulder girdle as you're working on and focusing on the lower body. So we're going to take it a slight bend through the knees, and when you do that, just think about basically just softening the knees, not so much about bending the knees. Okay, so we're aiming to keep the ball in place as you go. Make sure you don't stick your bottom out, so we're not doing this. So you need to keep the tail tucked and think about dropping the tailbone as you're working. So the target is the inner thigh. You will feel some strength work into quads, and you need to really focus on working all of these muscles in the lower body. So think inner thigh, quads, glutes. Okay, so imagine the hook attached to your crown. So stay tall all the way through. You're constantly being pulled up by that hook. And you do need to really maintain that focus. Otherwise, the tendency is to kind of sink down into the movement. So chest stretch and that lengthening up from your crown, constantly being pulled up by the hook. So drawing up on your pelvic floor, just squeeze your glutes just now. So breathe in, just allow your knees to soften. And as you breathe out, use your inner thighs to come back up and squeeze into the ball, squeezing your glutes at the same time as you come back. So breathe in, just soften the knees. Breathe out, use the glutes, use the inner thighs, draw it all back in. So be really careful with this one that you don't just go through the motions. And it is so easy to do that with some of our Pilates exercises more than others. So remember, Pilates is conscious movement, and you need to think about every single movement when you're taking any of your Pilates exercises. So please make sure, so that you get a really effective workout, please make sure you are focusing on those areas. So really using your inner thighs to squeeze into the ball, using the thighs, using your glutes. So consciously taking that squeeze, that strong squeeze into the ball. And again, if you want to have a play around with the placement of the ball and see what works best for you, you know, what gives you the best workout for those inner thigh muscles. So obviously if this one causes you any problems with your knees, then you would opt for the lying down version. But it is important that we are working to strengthen what do tend to be weak muscles. We're making this one your last one. So pull it all back in, squeeze your glutes, lengthen up from the crown, draw up on your pelvic floor, taking a breath in. And as you breathe out, squeeze into the ball even stronger. Breath in, as you breathe out, squeeze in even stronger again. You've got one more breath. And slowly then relaxing off the ball, well done. So it's a little bit more of a bend through the knees now as you take the ball away, well done. Just placing that off to your side. So we're just going to shake out the legs and the feet. You might even want to pedal through the feet. You might feel that you want to take a release for quads. So whichever release you feel you need to take, please just go ahead and do that. So that might be different for you from somebody else. Basically, whatever release you feel you need, please go ahead and do that. So we're going to do another movement now in standing, and this is a new one for this class. If it causes your knees any problems, please go for any of our other quad strengthening exercises. So suggestions are standing squat, which we tend to do with the ball between the knees, your hanging down squat, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, knee hinges from a kneeling position, or if you've got the strength, all fours knee hovers. Otherwise, we are going to take this movement now, and again, if your knees don't like it, please don't continue with it. So again, it's just a little bit of variety. It's a different way to work the muscles. Excuse me a sec, just adjusting you again. It's just a slightly different way to work your muscles. So if you haven't done this before, you won't have done it before. So please just have a look at this first. We're going to use the chair for some support. Again, it's the same stance as our inner thigh work we've just done. Turn the toes out, and again, you're really focusing on the glutes and the quads. So we're going to start off with our basic lift. So taking a breath in, we're going to lift up the heels. And as you breathe out, you set the heels down. And as you set your heels down, squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the glutes. So it's breathe in to lift up. Breathe out, heels go down. You can float the arm up. So really squeeze everything. Breathe in, come up. Breathe out, set the heels down. So as you're working, as you're taking that movement with the arm, think about drawing your shoulder blades down your back. So staying as tall as you can, lengthen right up from the crown, and really feel that you are working those muscles. So you have got the option of staying here if you prefer. Otherwise, we're going to move on. The breathing changes. Just going to come back a little bit. So taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, we're going to come up to your toes. Breath in to hold, and as you breathe out, we're going to take a narrow plie here as you lower down, spine stays upright. Come down to your furthest point. Breath in, and as you breathe out, use your quads now to push back up, right up onto the toes. Breath in, breathe out, heels go down, squeeze your inner thighs. Breath in, as you breathe out, lift up. Breath in, as you breathe out, lower down, arm goes out. And make sure your spine is upright. Breath in, as you breathe out, use your quads, push, push, push back up. Onto toes, squeeze the quads. Breath in, breathe out, the heels go down. So how is that feeling for you just now? It is quite challenging. And again, if your knees don't like it, please go for something else. So it is a quad strengthening exercise, little bit of glute and inner thigh as you come back up to your standing. So make sure you are maintaining that upright spine. Can you feel that into your thighs yet? And on your scale of 0 to 10, where are you? So is it feeling quite strong? Just going to take you for a couple more. I'm just going to show you from the side. So you come up to toes. Breath in as you breathe out, you lower down, upright spine being kept. Breath in, and as you breathe out, use your thighs, push it back up, heels go down. We're going to make this your last one. And on your last one, if you're ready, we're going to hold it. So just come down to your furthest point, breathe in, blow out, and again breathing in, arm here or here, it doesn't matter. So is that starting to feel strong for you now into your thighs? Just 2 more breaths if you can do this. Try and come up now really slowly. Breath in as you breathe out, push, 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 use the thighs. Set your heels down, well done everyone, really, really good work. So really quite strong on that one. Just shake out your feet. Ready for your quad stretch, we're going to balance on your right leg. Bend through the left knee. Reach around, taking a hold on the front of the foot. So make sure you do get your stretch. Tucking your tail right under. So take a deep breath in now. And as you breathe out, draw that heel in towards your buttock. Whilst at the same time, lifting up your breastbone and lengthening up from your crown. So that lengthening up will help increase that stretch for you over the front of that hip. And your last one, releasing that leg. So if you need to, please pedal out your feet. Changing over, so balancing left. Bend through the right, reaching around, taking a hold on the front of the foot. Once you're there, tucking your tail right under. So make sure the knees are level, and now we're taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, draw that heel in towards your buttock, lift up your breastbone, lengthen up from the crown, use the glute as well, try and get more of a tuck under to get more of a stretch. That's your last one, well done, releasing that leg, just pedal out your feet. So we're going to bring it down now to the floor, and if you have rolled your mat away, then please just roll it back out again. So we're going to come down to the floor. You're going to stand at the end of your mat, and yes, I'm adjusting you again. So to the end of your mat. So tilt your pelvis, scoop your abs in. Breath in as you breathe out, nodding the chin, slowly rolling down, just hanging your spine. So keeping your chin tucked in, we're going to walk out forward now to your mat. Knees are coming down one at a time. From here, bring your knees off to the side and around to the front. So you're sitting facing the front, and hopefully you can see me okay. So we're going to move on now to just a short spine release. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. So hands take a hold underneath the knees. Thinking about a different stretch there. So hands underneath the knees, shoulders relaxed. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just allow your legs now to completely relax, or try to allow them to relax. Just allow the knees to flop down towards the floor. If you're ready, breath in. As you breathe out, you're walking the hands down the legs towards your feet, aiming eventually to take hold of your feet. If if you're ready from here, we're going to take the feet a bit further away from you one at a time. Knees in further forward into that posture. If you're ready from there, feet go further away again, and knees in further forward into the posture. That'll be your last one. Breath in as you breathe out, pushing into your back, uncurling your spine. So up to sitting. So from here now we're going to go into seated abdominals, and today we're going to work the variation of working with the band. So please have your band handy. So just want to bring you a bit lower down really, or a bit closer to me. So if you do prefer to sit onto your blue block for your lumbar movements, then please go ahead and do that. So hands underneath the knees to start with, shoulders are relaxed so it's really small through lumbar spine. So when you're ready, we're taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, using your lower abdominals, you're just pulling your tail forward. Breathe in to go back to neutral spine, and again, breathing out, you're pulling the tail forward. Breathe in to go back to neutral spine. So we're going to stay here to take a few of these movements, and it is so important that you get your lumbar moving first. So please focus right in on this part of the movement. Make sure it is the lumbar moving. And then once you're sure you've got the lumbar moving, we'll increase your range of movement. So hands underneath the knees, small tilt. Breath in as you breathe out. We're starting to roll down. You need to pull your shoulders forward. Think about that C shape. Coming down to your furthest point, holding to breathe in. You're looking out the front of your hips, and as you breathe out, you're pulling your shoulders down towards your hips. Your head stays low until your head's in line with your knees, and then we're straightening back up to posture. So this is why we're bringing in the band, and if you do find that when we do the seated abdominals with the squashy ball behind you, you find that that ball really supports your lower back, and you want to go ahead and work with that ball now, please go ahead and do that. So it may just be that you're working with the ball and with the band, and that is absolutely fine. So use that please if you need to. So we're going to take a hold of your band. So this will be your stronger resistance band now. So we're going to place the band over the arches of your feet, right down to the ends of your band. Wrapping each end of the band around each hand, and just enough so you've got some resistance there, and checking with the shoulders, are they still relaxed? So we're going to use this band for support, so it's exactly the same movement, but hopefully working with the band that will enable you to get a bit further down than you could working without. And it is a really nice supported movement with the band as well. Be really careful as you go through the movement that you're not pulling on the band to bring you back up. So make sure to start with, and you do see this in class, make sure that you've got hip distance on the legs, you're not here. So it's hip distance, make sure you've got that space between the feet, and also be really careful if you are able to go quite far down that you don't start to do this and straighten out your legs. So if you are able to go quite far back and you're straightening out your legs, at this point, potentially you could be leaving your lower back prone. So please keep a bend through the knees so that the lumbar is always supported. So make sure you've got a placement for the neck. We're taking a small tilt. Breath in as you breathe out. We're slowly rolling down. And again, hopefully you're finding that you can get further down working with the band than without. So really think now about pulling your shoulders down towards the hips. Don't think about doing this. You're not thinking about lifting the shoulders up. You're thinking about curling yourself into that C shape. So it's breath in as you breathe out. You pull the shoulders forward. You're basically drawing your upper body towards the lower body. Take it really slow. Head stays low. When it's in line with the knees, that's when you back up to posture. Shoulders, shoulder blades, same thing again, so small tilt. Breath in as you breathe out, slowly rolling down to your furthest point. Make sure you've still got correct placement for the neck. Breath in as you breathe out. Pull the shoulders forward. Try and make it really slow. Imagine that you're literally peeling each vertebra from your spine away from the mat, one vertebra at a time. It's really easy to take your release with this. So when you feel you need your release, keep a hold of the ends of the band, soles the feet together, take a hold of the feet, just relax into that posture. And then when you're ready, you come back into it. You've still got a hold of the ends of the band, and we're continuing with the movement. So if the movement as we've been doing it so far is challenging you enough, please stay with that. Otherwise, we're going to slow it down and we're going to break it down to thirds. So it's a small tilt, basically slowing the movement right down so that the abs work harder. So small tilt, breath in as you breathe out, you go down a third of the way and pause. Breath in as you breathe out, go down 2/3 of the way and pause. Breath in as you breathe out to your furthest point, and the same thing coming back up. Breath in as you breathe out, come up a third of the way. Breath in as you breathe out, 2/3 of the way, keep the curl. Breath in, and as you breathe out, you roll the way back up. So the key here is really slowing everything right down. Check on the shoulders when you get back up to sitting. We're going to do the same thing again, a small tilt. Breath in as you breathe out, go down a third of the way. Breath in as you breathe out, 2/3 of the way. Breath in as you breathe out to your furthest point. Breath in as you breathe out, come up a third of the way, hold. Breath in as you breathe out, 2/3 of the way, make sure you've got that tight curl. Breath in as you breathe out, slowly back up. So we're continuing there now, working at your own pace. And hopefully you're feeling that this is challenging you. Again, it's just another variation on our seated abdominals. So if you do prefer to do any of your other seated abdominals, please go ahead and do that. But I really, really like this one because it does give you that support in working with the band to hopefully enable you to get further down. And in enabling you to get further down, it basically gives your spine a greater range of movement. And in giving your spine a greater range of movement, your abdominals have to work harder then to pull you into flexion. So if you feel that you wanted to make this more challenging, then you'd stay with the thirds, but you would hold it for longer in each third. So small tilt, you go down a third of the way, focusing on pulling the shoulders forward. You'd stay there for 1 or 2 breaths. You'd then roll down 2/3 of the way, stay there for 1 or 2 breaths. And whilst you're holding, you really focus on drawing the shoulders down towards the hips, really maintaining that curl. So slow it right down. So what we're aiming for eventually with this movement is for you to be able to roll all the way down and roll all the way back up without the support from the band. It is an advanced movement if you're able to do that. And if you do have any lower back problems, you may always need to work with a band just so that you have that support for your lower back. If you do feel that you're ready to move on, so if you want to stay with the band, please just stay with that. If you're ready to move on, what you might want to do is fetch a towel. I'm going to just fetch a cushion, excuse me, and you just basically place that into where your lumbar is going to meet the floor. So it basically gives you a little bit of support when you're coming back up again. So I'm going to show you the progression. So arms are parallel, small tilt, breath in as you breathe out. You go over your towel, your cushion, whatever you've got, and obviously it's up to you if you want to make that a bit higher. So you'd go all the way down, you take the arms up over your head. This is the bit that you need to watch out. Make sure you don't come up with momentum. So nice and slow, breath in as you breathe out, arms away first, then your head, then your neck, then your spine, and you're literally peeling your spine away from the mat. So using a towel or a cushion for now if you need to, and you do need to be pretty strong to come up, all the way up slowly without any support. So we would aim eventually for you to stretch out your legs. You go all the way down again, it's just 1 vertebra at a time. slowly, slowly as you go. And again, arms, head, neck, spine, peel the spine away. You would then come up, reach up, breath in, and as you breathe out, up and over into your stretch or hamstring stretch, and then back into the movements and continuing there. So please let me know how you got on with this one. Just take a couple more whilst I'm talking. So if you were able to do the movement without the band and you used your towel or a cushion, please let me know how you got on. If you were able to do it without any support and you were able to do it nice and slowly coming up, please let me know. So again, your feedback's really, really helpful for me so that I can just plan your ongoing sessions, because I basically want you to get the best workout for you out of these sessions. So I do really rely on your feedback to do that. So we'll make this one now your last one. So with all your Pilates movements, it's all about you getting an effective workout, basically. A safe, effective workout. So that's why it's important that you're always feeling for what's happening so that there's never any strain going on. So into release then, soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. If you still work with the band, you can just take the band away now and into this last release. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the side, just relax into that posture. And then when you're ready, slowly then coming back up. Feet on the floor with your knees bent. So we're going to go into lying down. So we'll be going into Sideline Oyster, and this is where you need your loopy band if you're ready to work with it. So if you haven't worked with this band for a while, you might want to try working without it first, see how it feels, because if it does feel quite strong, then obviously you don't need that extra resistance, and it is really, really important that you don't strain your muscles. So if you're ready for it, just have the band handy. So you're going to roll down. If your back isn't ready to roll down, come off to your side first. So arms are parallel, small tilt. Breath in as you breathe out, you're slowly rolling down, so your spine goes down, your head goes down. Once you're there, arms up over your head, stretching your legs out in front. So full body stretch, reaching the fingers away, reaching your toes away. So we'll take a few breaths here, a deep breath in, blowing out. So as you're breathing, we're just allowing the lower back to arch up a little bit higher into passive extension if that's comfortable for you. If it doesn't feel very comfortable, please engage your core. Slide the heels into you one at a time. So your feet on the floor, your knees are bent. As you're breathing, we're just allowing the ribcage to open out. Allowing your abdominals to relax. Relaxing off your midsection. When you feel that that's relaxed, try and relax it even further. You might need to find a different place now for your arms for you to feel more comfortable in that posture. So placing your arms wherever is most comfortable for you. We're now relaxing off your hips, relaxing off your legs. So just allow your legs to be relaxed and heavy. We're checking out for any remaining areas of tension from your head to your feet. And if you're finding any, just allowing those areas to relax. Before you start moving, re-engaging your core, slowly bring your arms down, sliding the heels into you one at a time, and now hugging one knee into your chest, followed by the other, rolling the knees in and back, and again, rolling the knees in and back. So a really nice stretch this one for your lower back. If you're ready, we'll take this to hamstring stretch while hugging the knees in, stretching up your legs, take no hold around calves or heels. Breath in as you breathe out, ease the legs in towards you and back. And again, ease the legs in and back. So obviously, if this feels too strong, if there's any pull on your lower back, please just stay with the hugs in of your knees. This one, your last one, bending your knees, feet to the floor one at a time. And now your arms out, wide to your sides, ankles and knees together. Breath in as you breathe out, knees go over to your right, turn your head to your left. Breath in as you breathe out, drum legs, spine, head back to centre. Breath in, breathe out, so over to the other side. Breath in as you breathe out, drum legs, spine, head back to centre. So sliding your arms down by your sides, hip distance on the legs and the feet. We're just going to take some mobility now for the hips. So hands come onto the fronts of your hips. So we're going into hip circles in lying down. And the focus here is on hip mobility and pelvic stability. So we're aiming to keep your pelvis stable whilst you're moving your hips. So make sure you are lying in neutral spine, the rib cage is drawn down. Hands onto the front of the hips so you can feel for any movement through the pelvis as you go. We're drawing upon pelvic floor into deep lying abdominals, taking a breath in. And as you breathe out, carefully lifting the right heel, lifting the toe, lifting your right leg to 90 degrees, and this is your start position. So this is a stirring movement now coming from your hip. You imagine that you're drawing a circle with the knee. It's a flat circle, and we're starting off clockwise. You're at the top of the circle just now. So a breath in to prepare, and as you breathe out, you're slowly starting to draw the circle, going clockwise, coming down to halfway. Make sure there's no movement through that left hip. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, very slowly, carefully, coming around to complete the circle. And again, breath in as you breathe out, starting to go clockwise, down to halfway, pausing to breathe in. As you breathe out, slowly, carefully completing the circle. So as you're working, would you be able to balance a small glass of water just now on that left hip and the water stay in the glass? Feel what's happening underneath your pelvis as well. So as you're taking this movement to your right hip, just check that your weight isn't starting to come over to your right. So what we're doing for here, as you get greater stability through the pelvis and as you get greater movement through the hip, is to be able to take the circles wider and wider. So taking 4 now in each direction, we're going to change direction. So breath in as you breathe out, slowly start to go anti-clockwise, down to halfway, pause to breathe in, and as you breathe out, slowly, carefully coming around to complete the circle. So remembering we're thinking slow, precise, controlled movements. Make sure there's no movement through the knee and there's no movement through the ankle. Imagine that you're keeping a beach ball now between your calf and your thigh. So the distance between your calf and your thigh is staying the same all the way through. So aiming to take 4 circles clockwise, 4 circles anti-clockwise. Feel for what's happening through the resting leg as well. So make sure your resting leg isn't starting to flop out to the sides. So you do need to work quite hard to maintain a straight line hip, knee, ankle, big toe. So this one, your last one, carefully replace the foot. Keep your pelvis stable now as you change over to the other leg. So lifting your left leg, make sure the core's engaged, just check in with the shoulders, where are they? Make sure you've got places for your neck as well. So when you're ready, breath in as you breathe out, starting to draw the circle. Going out, so you're actually starting anti-clockwise on the left leg. Although it is up to you if you want to start clockwise, that's absolutely fine. The main thing is that you get the clockwise and anti-clockwise movements. So this is one of those deceiving exercises that, to look at somebody doing this exercise, it looks really quite easy. But when you're actually working through the movement, I think it's really quite a challenging exercise. So you need to keep your focus on everything that's going on, from your head to your feet. So even though we are targeting the hip, as with all your Pilates exercises, you need to check what's happening from your head to your feet. So just constantly checking with yourself, where is your neck, where are your shoulders, is your ribcage drawing down, have you still got that hold on the core, is the pelvis staying stable, what is your body weight doing underneath you. So make sure you are changing direction after you've taken 4. So where is your body weight underneath you? Would you be able to balance that small glass of water just now on your right hip and the water stay in the glass? So of course this is what we're aiming for with all your Pilates exercises, is this stable pelvis. So remembering, if the pelvis isn't stable, the lower back isn't either. So we're just going to finish off now on this movement. So if you're not finished yet, please take all the time you need to finish. And then when you're ready to release, we're just going to hug one knee into your chest, followed by the other, rolling the knees in and back, and again, rolling the knees in and back. And when you're ready, we're going to release the left foot to the floor, take the hands underneath the right knee, stretch the left leg out, and just hug that right knee into you. And if you're ready to now, I'm going to take your right hand onto the inside of the right knee, left hand onto the front of the left hip, ready to open out the hip. Breath in as you breathe out, just open out the hip to your right. Breathing into this stretch, and think about just easing the knee down towards the floor. That was your last one. Slow, bring the leg back, right foot to the floor, sliding the left heel in. Changing over now, so hugging the left knee in, sliding the right heel away, pointing down through the toes. And right hand comes onto the front of the right hip, left hand onto the inside of the left knee. Breath in as you breathe out, just ease the knee out, opening out the hip. And if you're ready, then just ease that knee down towards the floor. Obviously, if this doesn't feel very comfortable, just please don't do it. You can do your seated inner thigh stretch instead, or you can come up to standing, walk the feet out wide and take your inner thigh stretch there. That'll be your last one. Slowly bring it back, left foot to the floor, sliding the right heel in. So we're going to move on now to the oyster, and you're either working with or without the band. So if you're working with, please take a hold of your band, hug the knees into you, stretch up your legs. We're going to loop the band over your feet and bring it up your legs, over the tops of your knees. You want about 1.5 inches worth of clearance over the knee, and once you're there, just go round your band with your hands down. Make sure it's flat, that you haven't got any twists anywhere. We're bending the knees, and there should be enough give in that band now to enable you to safely bring one foot closely followed by the other to the floor. So we're going to turn onto your side, and if you know that you need support between your head and your arm when you're lying on your side, please have that support ready to your side. So obviously choosing which side you're going to come on to first, and the best placement will be you facing your camera, not your camera, your screen. So I'm going to take my right arm up and turning onto my right side, and I'm just going to reach for my my block, because I do really need this. And I am talking to you. So ordinarily I would be tucked down a little bit more than this on the chin, but I'm just facing the camera. So you need to make sure you've got 90 degrees out the hips and the knees. So line yourself up with the edge of your mat. Make sure there's no diagonal lines anywhere. The heels are going to stay together for this one all the way through, and this is outward rotation now through the hip. So make sure the heels don't start to come apart, because you do see that happening in class, and then you're wondering why you're not feeling it in the right place. So either placing the left hand in front of you, or you can place it onto the outside of your thigh. If you feel that you need some height underneath this hand, please bring over your blue block or anything else that you might have, but just make sure that left shoulder is just nice and relaxed. So side lying, you need to draw up on your pelvic floor, you're into deep lying abdominals and you're lifting your waist away from the mat. So just try and create some space now between your waist and the floor. So heels staying together, we're taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, you're pushing your knee away up to hip level, breathe in to bring it back in. Breathe out, pushing the knee away up to hip level, breathe in to bring it back in. So I'm just looking at myself now and I think I'm actually blending into the mat. So I think my black leggings are just blending into my nearly black mat. So is this a problem for you? Can you see me properly? Might need to get another mat. So make sure you maintain placement for the shoulder girdle here all the way through. I'm just going to put my hand now onto where you should be feeling this. Hopefully you can see that. So that's the mid glute, and you will know from class that sometimes if you aren't feeling this into the right place, and I'll come around to check you and I adjust you just even slightly sometimes, that can make a real difference to whether you're working the right area or not. So if you can't feel it into the place where I've got my hand now, then please bring your top hip forward and focus on keeping it forward. Very often with this movement, you find that you overly rotate out through that hip. If you're working with a bando, that is less likely to happen. So hopefully you're feeling that, and if you can't feel it into that area and you've tried to adjust yourself, you just can't feel it, please take the band away, come out of this exercise, lie on your front and go into Charlie Chaplin feet instead. It's the one that we did in last week's class. So how is that feeling for you? Can you feel you working the glutes and does it feel quite strong? If you feel that you would be better working without resistance, go ahead and take the band away. So we are aiming to work these muscles quite strongly. They do tend to be weak. You're going to make this your last one. So your last one, lift it and just hold it. Lift your waist away, 3 breaths. A breath in, blowing out, and again, deep breath in, blowing out. This one, your last one, and slowly relaxing down. Well done. We're going to take a release, bring the top leg forward, knee onto the floor, stretching out the bottom leg, and just give that a rub there to help release. And then when you're ready to bring the bottom leg under, so we're just going to push up now from your side up to sitting. Just bring your knees over to the other side and we'll go over and do the other side. So remember, you might need your head support on one side, your shoulder support I should say. You might not need it on the other side. So 90 degrees at the hips and the knees. Just check on that placement of your neck, and I know it can be quite challenging for you to tell whether you're in correct placement here just now, because obviously I'm not there to check you, so you might not know for sure whether you're in the right position. All I would say to you is, if it doesn't feel right, and especially if you feel any pull on the side of your neck, please bring over a cushion or a towel and place that underneath and see if it makes a difference. Actually, I'm going to keep it there. So just feel for this right shoulder, might be your left. So draw up on your pelvic floor into deep lying abdominals, and now you're taking that lift of your waist away. And even though this is quite a small thing that we're adding in here, it is really, really important, because what you're doing there in lifting your waist away is basically engaging your oblique muscles, and the obliques wrap around the waist, and they help to keep your spine in its neutral position when you're in this sideline position. So it kind of makes sure that you don't sag the spine down towards the floor. So lift the waist away, heels stay together, taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, push the knee away up to hip level, breathe in to bring it back in. You can, if you wanted to, just place your hand here into the small of your back, so that you can feel for what's happening through the pelvis, so that you don't overly rotate through that hip. So your hips need to be stacked, one directly over the next. So how does that feel for you? And it might be feeling quite different from one side to the other. It might be feeling stronger on one side than the other. Still keep your waist lifted away. So mid glutes again, they tend to be weak. So obviously this is a mid glute exercise. You can also work your mid glutes lying on your front Charlie Chaplin feet, in standing Charlie Chaplin feet, and also any of your one-legged stances will work your mid glute in a static contraction. So one-legged stances are really, really good, not only for you to work on your balance, but to really work on strengthening up that mid glute. So again, you should be feeling it here. Always check in with yourself, make sure you work in the right area. Think about bringing this top hip forward. This one, your last one. On your last one, you're ready into a hold. So lifting the leg, just hold it for 3 breaths. Make sure your waist is still lifted. Breath in. Blowing out. Breathing in. Blowing out. Is that feeling strong for you? Are your legs shaking? Yes. That your last one, relaxing downwards. And top leg forward, knee onto the floor, stretching out the bottom leg. Giving that a rub there to help release. And then when you're ready, tucking the bottom leg under. And it's up to you now if you want to come back to face the right way. You don't necessarily have to. If you're comfortable staying that way, that's fine. So coming up to sitting, and we may as well take the band off in sitting. So rolling down then to the floor, and we're just going to take a glute stretch now. So right foot comes over the left knee, just hold it here. You might need some head support for this one. So in last week's mini session, we did a glute stretch in standing, which a lot of you have fed back to me to say that you really liked. So I think it's a really good one. If you know that you're tight around the backs of your hips and you know that you need to be stretching the hips out, but you don't necessarily want to come down to the floor, that is ideal for stretching out the glutes and standing. If you're ready to move on, ease the legs in towards you, support with your arms and your hands. So it's right hand under your right knee, left hand supporting the right foot, shoulders relaxed, just breathing into your stretch. So as you breathe in, think about using that left leg to help use the right leg even closer into you. That'll be your last one, that foot to the floor, followed by the other, changing over. So just hold it here for now. And this might be enough of a stretch for you, and if it is, that's fine, please stay there. If you're ready to, ease the legs in towards you, supporting with your arms and your hands. Make sure you've still got the chin tucked down. Think about using the right leg to help ease the left leg even closer into you. That'll be your last one. That foot to the floor, followed by the other. And now lifting your right leg to 90 degrees. Left hand onto the outside of the right knee. Straighten out your left leg. Breath in as you breathe out. Your leg goes over to your left. Turning your head to your right. Breath in as you breathe out, slowly along the spine, the leg, the head. Back to your start position, right foot to the floor side and left heel in. When you're ready, lifting the left leg, right hand onto the outside of left knee. Straighten out your right leg. Breath in as you breathe out, leg goes over to your right. Turn your head to your left. Breath in as you breathe out, slowly along the spine, the leg, the head. Back to your start position, left foot to the floor side and the right heel in. Your arms out wide to your sides and choosing which way you're going to bring your legs over to. Breath in as you breathe out, knees come over to the side. Bring the arm, the head over to the same side as your knees. So just check your setup once you're there. Wrists under shoulders, your knees under your hips. And then when you're ready, we're tucking the toes under. Walking your hands to your knees, pushing up onto your toes. Walking your hands to your toes, pushing down through the heels, knees, the bent head just hanging to the floor. So just check now that you have got a hip distance on your feet, and please don't come back up too quickly. Breath in as you breathe out, push your hips forward, push your knees forward, slowly uncurling your spine. So right up to standing, and once you're there, just check through your posture. So check your shoulders are down away from your ears, have a look down at your feet, check you've got your hip distance, toes are forward, remember that softness through the knees, switching on your core. Chest stretch, arms behind you, back interlacing the fingers. Keep the shoulders where they are, releasing your hands. Try and get really tall out from your crown, 2 more inches onto the height of your spine. And a few deep breaths with your arms. Taking a deep breath in, taking the arms up. And blowing out. And again, deep breath in. Blowing out. And last one, deep breath in. And blowing out. Thank you very much, everybody. Well done for today's session. So I hope you all enjoyed that, and I hope to see you all soon. Have a great week, and bye for now.